Hi, welcome. This is Mario, coming to you from China. I've been in this country for almost 10 years, actually more than 10 years. And I'm going to try to make more videos about my life here in China and maybe try to help people who are probably potentially interested in coming here, living here, or doing business here, and so on. So if that's one of you, then maybe hit me a follow and hit me with questions that you would are interested in knowing. I'm gonna try to keep it real and say what I can say, within the scopes of the law, whatever that is. I'm cloud coding here on the park. I'm just hitting one and two. That's basically what I do. I started cloud coding about a week ago or so. I'm trying to make my projects. That's part of what I do. I run a company and I make videos and I help companies with their social media marketing needs. So I'm trying to help Chinese companies to make better content on social media platforms, especially short form content. But I hear I'm just creating an app for me that it's very necessary for me, which is an expense tracker. It's amazing with Cloud Code how much anybody can create the app that they really need, or get an app that already exists that is open source and customize it to what you need. That being said, let's get back to being in China. Just gonna share what my feelings are about being in China after 10 years. And yeah, and maybe try to do a different topic every other video. That's a cool bubble just flew by. So I've been here for the better part of my adult life. I got here when I was around 27. Now I'm 38. So I've been here for quite a while. And China's an interesting place to live. I had the pleasure of living in different countries before, including European countries and South American countries, namely Argentina, Spain, France, England, China, and I've spent quite a lot of time in Sweden as well, and traveled to other European countries as well. Um, so, but for my adult life, I think Southeast Asia has been my home, especially China, Southeast Asia, the south of China. This is Shenzhen, Guangdong province, and to be honest, is one of the best cities in China if you want to visit, at least in my opinion. Um, although recently I've kind of been on the fence about what's the better city in China, because it depends on what you want to do. And in this city in particular, what you notice is that most of the people here are just like really interested in working and doing business. And it comes to a point where you no longer enjoy life or what you're doing anymore. If you haven't surrendered yourself with like good people and the people that you want to be surrounded by, or if you had a friend group and that friend group disappeared because people started coming and going, it is suddenly is not such a welcoming place. I've been here before COVID and after COVID, and COVID really changed the picture a lot in terms of how many foreigners are here, but also on the attitude of Chinese people towards foreigners. For the worse. Not gonna sugarcoat that one. For the worse, because Chinese people are very, they respond very well to whatever it is said on media. It is said on newscasts and stuff like that, and for good reason, for their safety and their culture, and it's just traditionally what they do. And so COVID brought a lot of like distancing and rejection from foreigners. Um, and I can tell you that as a as a white guy, that um, and people, probably black people or Muslims or whatever, they could probably. say that it was worse for them. Probably, I don't know, but that's what I've heard from them. But from everybody, it's kind of like that. Notwithstanding, and I have lived in Spain for a long time. I would say Chinese people are friendlier than most people, than most countries that you visit to, especially Europe. If we're talking like Spanish people or Italian people or stuff like that, um, even British people. I also had the pleasure of living in England for a summer or two, and also frequently visited there. Awesome country, perhaps one of my favorite countries. It's just very difficult to live there, very expensive, and not as comfortable, not as safe as here. But I would say that a lot of people in Spain, particularly, sorry, Spain, um, Argentina as well, of course, not very welcoming from the get go, from the start. They probably get more welcoming as you become friends with them, but from the get go, very unwelcoming and stuff like that. And this is particularly true when you talk about tourism and the staff, services staff. I remember quite vividly just 2 years ago in 2024, I visited Spain for the first time in quite some years. And everywhere I went, every restaurant that I went, every cafe that I went, the staff was just nasty. It was something I was not used to. It was like them serving me, they were doing me a favor instead of like me, I'm the customer and I'm treated well because I'm bringing business to the shop or the business. Here's the complete opposite, for better or worse. The business is incentivized to make you feel welcome, to make you stay there, to make you spend more money, and they treat you amazingly, especially if you're a foreigner. So in China, you get preferential treatment, especially in businesses, because obviously, because they want you to spend more and stuff like that. And this is not a tip culture. Like you don't never have to tip here. However, they incentivize you to come back to the shop. In every store that you walk in and you walk out of, Chinese people will always say, "Welcome back next time." So, 下次光临. So it's like they always emphasize this. And I think this is actually more profitable for the business. The fact that they don't care so much how much you spend on that time. They care that you become a repeating customer. They care that the relationship continues, and they're going to make everything as you know everything possible to make you come back again. They're going to give you free gifts. They're going to give you a discount. They're going to give you vouchers and stuff like that. That is very part of the system here, very incentivized, and it's something that I really like. So when I say that COVID changed the attitude of people towards foreigners, I'm not saying the business culture, I'm not saying the shop and the preferential treatment that we foreigners get here. I'm saying it changed when you cross people on the street, and stuff like that. Or, yeah, or when you get into an elevator, you're just a foreigner, that type of stuff. The other thing that I, as somebody who's been here for too long, I don't mind or I don't care much for. Ready to move to phase two. Okay, go. It's amazing how code works. I just say go and it goes. The other thing that it's that a lot of people, actually probably 90% of Chinese people, have never met a foreigner before. I'm just pulling that number out of nothing, but the fact that the population it's I believe is 0%, 0.5, or maybe 1%, maybe 2% of the population is foreigners. That speaks volumes of like what goes on here. You are rare. I mean, foreigners are rare. Foreigners are most common in the biggest cities. Probably Shanghai is at number one with the most foreigners, if we don't count Hong Kong, I guess. But Shanghai, then Beijing, then probably Shenzhen, Chengdu, something like that, or maybe Chongqing throw in there. Chongqing has a lot of tourists, but I don't think there are a lot of foreign residents. Anyway, so because such low numbers, most people have never seen a foreigner, and then whenever they see you, they're always go like, "Oh, Waigorin and Waigorin, Waigorin." So you get thrown around the word Waigorin at least once a day, at the very least once a day, if you're just out and about. Um, and it's not a insult. It's something that you need to become used to. I guess in Thailand, it's probably the same thing. You know, just call you farang or something like that, um, which can have a negative connotation, but it's mostly on how you say it. You know, it's mostly on how you say it. Um, I think the attitude and the how people speak about those things are way more important than the word itself. The word doesn't really mean anything if there's no intent in there. And I think you can, if you're a good at socializing person, you're gonna smell that intent right away. So I could make this video forever. I realize because um, I'm trying to get better on camera because my problem is that I can talk forever, but I cannot narrow down in a point or two. So I'm gonna be um, I'm resistant to uploading videos like this at the moment. I don't believe they bring any value to anybody. Hopefully, I can get better on camera. I'm comfortable on camera. I'm not good at delivering valuable information yet. I believe I can get better at it and summarizing and delivering something that is actually useful for people. Because maybe I just go back and forth with my experience, and so yeah. But yeah, I would like to help people who have the intention of coming here. I believe it's a great experience. I honestly, if Europe was a safer place, I probably would like to try to go back to Europe and try to make a life there. I just don't see it that way though. I think China is so safe that I gotten used to not being scared at home, to not being scared at night, not being scared anywhere in the city. I don't have to like think about what area of the city I'm in. I can just hop in a train and get out anywhere in the city, and I'm like, I know I'll be fine. Even as a girl, I think you're fine everywhere in the city and everywhere at any hour. Um, but yeah, bad stuff happens. They do steal stuff in China. They do petty, very little petty stealing stuff. I haven't gotten robbed anything big. Um, you know, I lived in Argentina where robbing and getting robbed and getting mugged is it's a very normal experience. A lot of people go through it. It is one of the worst in South America. Maybe not the worst, but one of the worst. And I remember being mugged at least two times when I was a kid, and watching somebody in front of my eyes getting mugged at least three times, including my brothers and friends. And it's mad. It's mad that you get used to it, but like, I guess everywhere in the world is kind of like that. In here, I got stolen like a bicycle on my first year when I first got here, because they had like a very soft lock. I guess somebody came and just cut it with like a saw or something. And then I got it stolen things like mirrors from my bike and the phone holders that go on the bikes that I got stolen that. Um, and a lot of people say they don't steal stuff because there's cameras everywhere. And I don't believe like anywhere in the city, most places in the city, you cannot do a 360 turn without seeing at least one camera. This right here, without even doing that turn, I can spot one, two, three, four, five, six, seven cameras. Okay, just looking in that direction. I don't even want to turn back because I'm sure there's more. But China is full of cameras, especially on places like this. It's a public park, and it's a weekend, so it's full of people on a weekend. So yeah, you better believe it's full of cameras and stuff like that. Parks in particular, they always are, but any street really is. And the places where I've gotten robbed, those things from my bike, are kind of like they also had cameras around. Maybe in that particular lay, there was not many bikes around. It was kind of solitude, and because it's like an easy thing to steal, I think people just go and steal it. The bike is also very easy to steal, to be honest, if you know what you're doing. But I'll come after you because I have a GPS really well hidden on my bike. So take it, see what happens. Like, now you better believe I'm going to try to get it back. I'm not sure if I can. But yeah, I do put a GPS. Buying stuff like a GPS for your bike in China is a no brainer because it's very cheap. I think I bought one for 30 RMB. It's insane. It's not like a real live update, but it updates with the Apple thing. So does give you the latest location that it went to. It's kind of like find my thing, so that you can lose track of it after. But anyway, so that's for my first video right here talking about my life in China. I hope I haven't rambled too much, and I hope I can get some questions so I can address them next time and try to help some people who are again interested in coming to China or doing business with China and need somebody here maybe to, I don't know, to touch base or whatever it is. Have a great rest of your day and have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your day. See you next time. I'm gonna see Claude Co here doing anything. And